Hello everybody, it's Michelle and I've got a fun summertime bead charm for you guys today. We're going to make a palm tree. I thought this would be really cute and I think you guys are going to like it. So I didn't order anything special for this bead charm. I was just looking through my stash and getting some ideas from what I already had on hand. So we're going to use some cone-shaped bead caps. You guys may remember these from my ice cream cone bead charms. And then I've got some rondelles and round metal beads, as well as a tiny little metal bead cap. I think this is a 3x6 rondelle shape. This is about a 5mm round bead. These are 4mm round beads, and I think that's a 5mm bead cap. But those sizes are not super important because they're just going to be spacers. So just look through your stash, see what fits, and use that. These are faceted rondelle shaped beads. Those are going to be my coconuts. And again, you can use faceted crystals, glass beads, wooden beads, brown pearls. Anything would work here. Again, these are 4x6, but I would suggest maybe a 4 or 5mm if you're using round. And then I'm going to use my 27mm plastic flower beads for the leaves of the palm tree. I've got 2 of those. I'm going to layer an offset, and then again just some spacer beads here just to kind of give those a little lift between each other. And over here I've got 3 2-inch head pins and 1 3-inch head pin. And the 3 inch is important to give us enough length to build that entire palm tree. But here for these, that's just what I had on hand. I'm only going to be using those 3 to make little dangles for my coconuts. And you could even get by with a 1 inch for that. And I've got my jump ring and lobster clasp. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my little coconut dangles. And that's just 1 bead on a head pin. And then I'm going to bend that, cut that down to about a 1/4 inch, and roll it back with my round nose pliers for the loop to hang it by. Just make sure that that loop closes tightly because it's just going to be around that little head pin and we don't want it to come off. And then when I get that loop the way I want it, I'm just going to give it a bend sideways so that will dangle downward when I put it on my tree. So I'm just going to continue and get all 3 of those made. Ready, and we'll just set them aside. I didn't worry about getting them all the same size or anything like that. If they dangle a little differently at different lengths, I think that's great. So we're ready to start building the palm tree, and I've got my 3-inch head pin for that. I'm just going to put on this rondelle bead because that was just wide enough to kind of stabilize inside the bottom of that right there. And these don't really matter what you're using in here. I just wanted to kind of stick with the metal look to match with my antique copper in case it showed through those filigree bead caps. And then my round bead on top of here will just go up inside of there a little further and help stabilize that so it doesn't wobble too much. And then the round beads here, I'm going to put as spacers in between my bead caps to give that a little lift. So you can see that there. It looks like those layers on our palm tree. And one more time we'll do that. And I think that's looking cute already. And if we want to at the end, we can kind of give a little bit of a curve to that to look more like a palm tree would look. And now I'm going to go ahead and dangle on my coconuts and just let those dangle down the side. And I liked 3 because I like to use odd numbers for things like that. I think it looks more appealing that way. And then this small little bead cap here is just going to kind of hide my loops on those coconut dangles. And now I'm going to use my 4mm round green bead underneath my first leaf so that it gives a little lift. Again, raising that up from the rest of the tree. And then my flower bead goes on. And this next one, I don't want quite as much lift under there, so I'm just using a tiny little seed bead. Again, in a clear green look so that when it shows through here, you won't really notice that. And if you have opaque flower beads, that would be even cuter. You wouldn't have to worry about those spacer beads quite as much. So there's our palm tree with the coconuts dangling underneath. I think it's really cute. And then we're just going to hold everything tight and bend that head pin over. Cut it off at about 1/4 inch. And then roll that with my round nose pliers to make my loop. And that's going to secure our palm tree. I think that's really cute. And now maybe just a little bit of that bend on the tree. And you can kind of bend that around and shape it however you want. And now I'm just going to put on my jump ring and lobster clasp. And I get a lot of questions about how to make earrings out of this or how to make different things. And I just kind of put a lobster clasp so that you can quickly clasp that onto anything you'd like. So I'm dangling that on my jump ring and now my lobster clasp. And I'm just going to close my jump ring. But I just sort of use the jump ring to give an example to you guys of one thing you can do. And just onto this jump ring, you can attach an ear wire hook, or you can attach a different type of connector to make whatever you want out of it. You can just attach that loop onto whatever you want your charm to dangle from, or you can clip your lobster clasp onto there, or you can put a pendant bell to hang it on a necklace, or like I said, again, the ear wire hook for an earring. You can make anything you want out of these charms, and that lobster clasp is just the example that I always use. So you just do whatever you want to do, whatever type of connector you want to use for how you're going to use your charm. So I hope that you guys liked this video. I've got some more beading ideas that I hope to get out to you very soon. So stay tuned for those. Be sure that you're subscribed and that you've clicked that bell to get notifications so you won't miss it when I do post a video. Like and share the video. That really helps me out on YouTube. Also, give me a like on my Facebook page and be sure to join our Facebook group, Craftie Minds. Also, follow me on Pinterest and Instagram, and don't forget to visit my blog. I'll have all of those listed in the description below, so be sure to check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.